Howdy folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today I am doing a Bjorn's Mighty Thoughts video. This is more of a reaction video or some theory, and today I'm actually going to be focused on talking about the trailer I had saw for Sons of the Forest. I'm going to throw my theories and thoughts into the pot here as well. I know a bunch of YouTubers already have. But honestly, I actually have just recently completed The Forest. It was a game I've kind of flirted with forgetting for a long time. Finally have gotten around to getting it and played through it. Quite enjoyed it. I do have a review on my YouTube channel, and I will post a link to my review of The Forest. Now, there will be some spoiler alerts. If you have not played The Forest, you don't want to watch this video. And if you've played through The Forest but not completed it yet, or done the main ending to The Forest, then you also don't want to watch this video because it's going to ruin it for you. But anyway, folks, I'm going to dive on in here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the trailer. Now, this is going to be different from my normal videos. I normally don't have any additional audio or video playing in the background. In this case, I will, because I'm actually going to be pointing out key moments in the trailer. So I'm going to be kind of sitting here watching the trailer with you, pausing it at moments, and talking about what I see, and just picking out little details from the Sons of the Forest trailer. So bear with me, and we're going to dive on in here. Get the trailer rolling. And now I'm going to pause it right here, and if you look there at the backpack, there at the seat, you will notice it looks to me, I know a lot about firearms. I'm not necessarily a world-renowned expert or anything like that, but that actually looks to me like a Remington 870 breacher. It's actually a very cut-down, shortened Remington 870 shotgun, and it's typically used for actually breaching doors. It's made for extreme close quarter combat, even more close quarter than your typical shotgun, as it also has a very shortened barrel and a very shortened magazine tube. They typically only carry about 4 shots. I want to point that out though now, because I'm going to be pointing that out a little bit later in this trailer. Also, if you look off to the side, you will see a survival shovel, like an e-tool. That kind of gives me the impression that there's a possibility that Sons of the Forest will actually have a possible digging mechanic, even if it's a limited feature. And then, of course, you have a typical survival backpack, which I would expect as much as you had that in The Forest. Now, I'm going to point out the soldier here. There's a lot of people out there I've caught that said about these guys look like special forces. I don't believe these are special forces. I'm going to point out in the upper left-hand corner, the helicopter. That is actually not a military type helicopter. That is a civilian type helicopter. If this was special forces, it would either be a Huey or B, a Black Hawk. That is definitely neither. That is a smaller sized helicopter. Now, I cannot perfectly identify the helicopter there, but that being said, it is definitely not United States Special Forces, Green Berets, Delta Force, anything of that nature. I don't believe so, because of the type of helicopter being used. Let's continue on. Now, I'm going to kind of pause it here again a moment. It seems like, once again, there's going to be some type of ration in the game, and I suspect what you're seeing here is that going to be that type of ration, which is an MRE. Now, if you played the first Forest, you know, obviously, you had like those little power bars. I'm not quite sure what they were, granola bars, but they were little survival rations, besides of that you could eat outside of your food that you were hunting. Now, I'm kind of on the bandwagon with a lot of the other YouTubers here. I believe this is Timmy that we're looking at, or that we're looking through the eyes of. And this is why right here. And fight demons, if, spoiler alert here, if you played through the forest and you did the main ending, Timmy survives. But he actually survives, and he has some kind of demon that he is constantly battling in him. So I believe this is some type of tattoo to always remind him to fight back against the demons. Now, I do want to point something, though, that I believe if you watch the end of the forest through the main ending, Timmy does not have this tattoo. So that kind of gives me the impression that maybe this is a slightly older Timmy also. Okay, now I can kind of see something here. It looks like it's a cannibal, and I suspect it actually is a cannibal, mostly because here in about a second there's going to be blood on the window. And in a little bit, I kind of have a theory of what threw that cannibal. But these guys are professional tough guys, and right now at this moment, they look like they're about ready to shit their pants. So, of course, the helicopter gets hit, crashes, and there's the blood I was talking about. And we'll continue on here. Okay, so I am not 100% sure what this is. I kind of have two theories here. If you see that hand is quite big. It's at least the size of the guy's shin, is my anticipation, especially going by the size of the fingers. Now, I did originally have a thought that maybe this is some kind of evolved bull mutant or the cow mutant. You know, the big fat guy that kind of runs around all over the place charging you all the time. I don't think that's the case. I think actually this might be a new mutant. And as you can see, you can partially see its arm. You can't really see too much of his arm. But even his arm looks bigger than the forearm of the mercenary on the ground. So I believe it's a mercenary. Now, of course, I'm going to admit right now that this scene definitely caught my attention as a, hey, how you doing? What's a pretty girl like you doing in these deep, dark woods? Stretching out a bit there. And that was about the moment where I went, hey, wait a minute. Is that 3 legs I see? I'm not sure if I'm so interested in a date anymore. But let's continue. Well, she was quite flexible there, as you can see. Let me back this up a little bit. So, at that point, I was kind of like, hey, well, maybe we could work this out. 3 arms, 3 legs. Kind of a weird combination here. Maybe I'm getting a little creepy. And if she has 3 legs, does that mean she has 2? We'll let that go. Either ways, my theory is this is also possibly another new mutant. I have heard people claim that this is possibly a Virginia. I actually don't think this is a Virginia. And if it is a Virginia, it's a much more refined and evolved version of the Virginia. It could actually even be a case of a combination of a Virginia and the Armsy. She also has multiple arms, where if you recall, the Virginia didn't really have arms, but she had multiple legs. It was, what was that, 6 legs if I recall? Plus, the Virginia didn't really have that much of a humanoid form, even though you could kind of see a humanoid form. This girl definitely has a much more humanoid form, minus the additional limbs. I think this is some kind of other mutant entirely, or at least an evolution. Um, that also being said, she is definitely trying to more or less seduce Timmy here, which kind of gives me the theory that she can tell Timmy does have a demon inside of him. So there might be other reasons here of why this is the way it is. Also, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see what looks like to be the tip of a shotgun, and that makes me believe even more that the shotgun we saw in the helicopter was a Remington 870 breacher. Once again, very short tube, and actually you can partially see the slide there, as well as you can actually see the little bead sight. Now, of course, we got a survival axe. This looks more like a more modernized survival axe. I'm not sure if this is a standard, going to be the standard axe for the game, or if this is the an upgraded version closer to like the modern axe from the first Forest game. Also, this scene kind of gives me an opinion that the game may be actually a bit more narrative based than open world compared to the first Forest game. As you can see there, also the soldier also has a Remington 870 breacher as he's getting into the cave. I figure I'll take a moment and point that out as well. Okay, now we see what looks to be like our typical cave mutants here. And they're not so typical after all when you actually look at them. This scene actually kind of really creeped me out, because you can kind of see his tongue, but he has no eyes, he has no teeth. He looks very weak, very frail, and that seems to be all of the mutants in this cave. Now, this I could actually believe as some type of evolution in the mutant chain, as the mutants themselves would most likely devolve into a more cave dwelling like species. So they wouldn't necessarily need to see at all. A lot of cave dwelling species actually can't see or have very sensitive vision, and instead hunt by other senses such as sound and smell. And another thing, I have already pointed out that he's very frail, but these are extremely frail. It almost gives me the point that they're almost starving. So maybe they've kind of stuck with their cannibalistic tendencies. I'm not really 100% sure. It's just a very interesting thing to see, and I'm not exactly sure really what to actually make of this. Also, I see here Timmy does have a flashlight, and a lot of the mercs also had flashlights as well. So it gives me the opinion that we're actually going to be less reliant on, say, a gas station lighter, and more reliant on a flashlight for lighting in caves. Thank God, because that was so annoying in the forest, trying to navigate through caves with a gas station lighter. But anyway, folks, I'm actually pretty well going to wrap the video up at that. That is my way in, my opinions about Sons of the Forest. I actually do believe I'll probably get this game when it comes out, if not even pre-order the game. Because as I said before, I really enjoyed The Forest, and I actually can't wait to see how Sons of the Forest unfolds. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. Subscribe to the channel, all that stuff that a lot of the YouTubers ask people to do, because it does help support their channels. Thanks again, folks, and have yourself a wonderful week.